All right, let's talk business plan and business model, right? Because ultimately when you come up with an idea for your company, right? Or you come up with an idea for this business and you start working on it and starting like really figuring things out, okay? So whether you start planning it in your phone or you start writing notes down or whatever it is, you start discussing with a potential partner or potential investor, it spawns from an idea and you've got this great idea and you're ready to get things moving. But sometimes the logistics of putting it together is where things get tricky and get complicated. Sometimes it's about the funding, sometimes it's about the marketing, sometimes it's about just the overall makeup of what it is you're trying to do. So what you need to really figure out is what your overall goal is, and then actually start, dissecting how you're gonna get from the idea to the actual business, right? Then you've got to remember, sometimes things are going to happen. Things are going to get in your way. Actually, not sometimes. I can almost guarantee the majority of the time, something's going to happen. It's never all going to go the way you want. It's never all just going to play out just like it did in your head. You're not going to always you're almost never going to come up with this great idea and it's like, oh man, this is this great idea, and let me go to my friend, and I'm gonna go to my cousin, and I know they can work this out, and we can make this happen, and then we just need to get a little bit of money, and then all of a sudden it's a business and it's working and everything's great. That almost never happens. There's always gonna be bumps along the way. There's always gonna be logistical changes that have to happen. Maybe not in the product. Maybe the product itself is a great idea, and maybe the masses have been looking for this product for so long that the product itself is just going to nail it right from the jump. But maybe it's the marketing. Maybe it's the production. Maybe it's anything. Okay? So you've got to be ready and willing to accept those when they come your way and be ready to face them head on. You can't. It's like this gray area of how to deal with it, right? Because a lot of people, you'll hear this thing, you got to be just strong, and especially in our American culture and society, and you're told on a regular basis. It's in the media. It's on little blurbs on social media. It's on all these little motivational sites, and it's on, if you follow any entrepreneurial platforms, a lot of them are going to tell you, well, you've just got to get out there and make it happen. It takes more than just making it happen. If you really listen to some of the great investors and great entrepreneurs and great business owners, they'll tell you it's not the person that works the hardest. It's not. It's not. I mean, you want to believe it, right? We want to believe we were brought up, oh, if you work hard and if you're diligent, things will pay off in life. And I'm not going to tell you that's wrong, because it absolutely can. You can totally work hard and build a life for yourself and just fight for every inch, and you could do great. Absolutely. But is it the person who works the hardest that's going to be the most successful? No, it's really not. Because when it comes down to it, it's more than just being like, a bull and charging through and, pounding with everything you've got to get that next inch. It takes more than that. You've got to really figure things out. So what I wanted to say is, there's a phrase that I absolutely live by, and I tell people all the time. It's like, sometimes it's not a setback. Sometimes it's God setting you up for something greater. It really is. When it really comes down to it, that's what it is. It's not just a setback. Now, I can look back at, 18 years ago when I had launched. 18 years ago was 2005, and I literally at that point had already launched 4, 5. God, I had already launched like 5, 6 different businesses, and they had all failed for one reason or another. Sometimes it was bad partners. Sometimes it was just the funding wasn't there. Sometimes it was the idea and the concept was flawed. And I can tell you that I can go back and look at it and say, oh, it would have worked if, and this would have worked if, and that would have worked. It doesn't matter. Okay, see, at the end of the day, what matters is all of those doors are closed for me. All those doors are closed. Those weren't the businesses for me. I love what I do today. I'm so joyful to get up and work every day now. I love what I do. Back then, I had these ideas. Like a buddy of mine came to me and he was like, dude, check this out, Corey. I got this great idea. What if we did this? What if we did A, B, and C and we put this together and we could sell this and it would be awesome? And I think you're the guy who could pitch it. And I'm like, oh man, I could absolutely pitch that. I could sell the crap out of that. But at the end of the day, did I care about it? I didn't. You know, I remember Dan Locke talked about something. He talked about the idea of how people sit here and tell you, oh, follow your bliss, follow what you love, you know, follow your passion. And he shared a little bit of tough love. He would tell people, he's like, you haven't earned the right to follow your bliss yet. And there's an element of truth there. If you're not willing to put in the work, have you really earned the right to follow your bliss? Now, a lot of people would say, absolutely. Why should anything ever stop you from following your bliss? You absolutely should, you know? But like I said, there's a gray area, and the gray area is that people don't like to talk about. It's like people are always one extreme or the other, either absolutely or absolutely not. There's no gray area. Most of us live in the gray. It's a real thing. Okay, so what is it that we're talking about here? If you're gonna build a business and you're gonna build a business based on the thing you love, have you put in the work to be able to deserve that spot yet? Maybe not. You've got to make sure your bills are paid. You got to make sure there's lights on, a roof over your head, especially if you got family, you've got a wife, you got a husband, you've got kids, you've got whatever. You know what I'm saying? If you've got a sick a parent that you're taking care of that's depending upon you, okay, you can't just drop the ball and say, I'm going to follow my bliss, I'm going to do the thing I love, and I'm not going to worry about my bills. That's a problem for another day because I'm following my bliss and it's going to pay me. Maybe your bliss, maybe your joy, your passion will pay you. I'm a firm believer that it will, but I'm also a believer that you've got to earn it. Make sure the lights are stayed on. Make sure your house is paid for. Don't quit your 9 to 5 until you've got profitability on your business. So you want to build a business on the side. You want to start a side hustle and grow that side hustle into an actually full-fledged business. And that business can become your breadwinner. It can be your bread and butter, take care of your life, pay all your bills, and then, you know, and that can be your bliss, absolutely. Okay, so like I said, that's where that gray area is. You don't give up on what's feeding your family to follow your bliss. You incorporate it. You go to work from 9 to 5, 5 o'clock you come home. You have dinner with the family, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, you sit down and start planning that business. Okay, but when you're planning that business, what if it's not working? Like I said, I had many businesses and I can look back and tell you why they went wrong. But you know, at the end of the day, I wouldn't be happy doing those things if they had panned out. If those businesses turned out to be successful and they lasted all the way till now, what would I have done with them? Odds are, I would have sold them off. I would have sold them, knowing what I know now, I would have sold them. But back then, I probably would have just kept working them. I probably would have just kept working them because they kept bringing me an income. And why am I going to turn away income? I had a buddy of mine, a great guy. He's incredibly driven worker. I remember me and him met when I was working as a head cook out in Oak Hill at a Jim's restaurant. So I was, like I said, I was cook. I was an evening cook and he was one of the waiters. He only worked 4 nights a week. 4 nights a week was a lot to me, considering he had a family and he had a 9 to 5 job working for the state. He had a state job at a desk, you know, working for the state, like pushing papers. He had a great job, benefits and all that cool stuff. So I was like, why is he waiting tables in the evening? And he was like, well, I was waiting tables before and it was just too hard to quit. The money's too good. That's what he said. He said, it's too easy. How can I quit? I was like, okay. Then he launched a website. Then he launched another. Then he launched another. In 5 months, from one of his 6 websites that him and his neighbor launched together, he made $50K in 6 months. Just from one. He had 5 others. Now, yeah, that $50K, that was a big one. The other ones were much smaller, but they were all making him money. And he still had his 9 to 5. And he was, you know, he would every now and then list some things here or there on eBay. And I mean, he just had side hustles to spare. I mean, the dude was inspiring to me. And it was cool because I feel like we both inspired each other. You know, we were good friends, and we still, after, 20 years, we still stay in contact. And but he was just such a driven person. And I remember he built things up so much with his businesses that his credit score kept going up. He had all of his bills. He paid off his house, did all these different things. And then he was like, dude, I can't believe this. He was like, I saw that there was this company for sale. It was a laser hair removal company in Austin. And at the time, it was like laser and spa. And he was like, I don't really know much about it, but it's for sale. And I was like, okay. I was like, the company's for sale in Austin. And he was like, dude, you're not gonna believe this, but they said because he talked to his buddy, he talked to another guy, talked to an accountant, and said, hey, let's look into this company. Let's see what I gotta do if I could buy this company. And they said, literally, he was like, how much cash do I need to have? And they said, you could put the entire company on his credit card. His credit had gone up that much. And at the time, he was still working a couple of nights as a waiter. He had gone down to 2 nights a week, but he was still working 2 nights a week as a waiter. He had bought a company. He was running all these websites and still working his 9 to 5 in the morning. And I was like, bud, like, what's up, dog? Like, how is it that you just keep doing this? Like, at what point is enough enough? And he's like, it's just too easy, man. I just keep going. And see, ultimately, that's the idea, though, is he had a job and he started building another job. And now those websites, he doesn't do any of that anymore. That's just not his, it's not his bag. It's not what he does. And now he's got that thriving business. Him and his wife were both working for the state. And he no longer works a night job. Him and his wife are living pretty great, And he's doing, and now to this day, now he's full-time with the laser and spa company, and he's running this company. And I'm not sure if his wife is working anymore. She really liked her job, but I'm not sure if she ever actually quit it. She might have. But the point is that's how you do it. You've got to have a process. And you might start little businesses here and there because they make you money. But at the end of the day, I started a reselling business that ended up being my bread and butter for a long time. Helped me get through college, helped me get through school. And there were times where I made no money, and there were other times where I was making stacks and I was pretty happy. But I always had to compensate for those days or weeks or months that were slower in the ones that were more profitable. I had to, balance that money. I had to hold on to that. And as I grew that business, I learned so many other things, and I tried to invest in other little businesses and tried to start and launch businesses with some other people that like I said, some partners and things. And going through all that process, I realized that I'm glad that those businesses didn't actually pan out for me, because they just ended up not being what I wanted to do. I didn't find joy in them. They just seemed like a business that's like, oh, this is a good idea and it could earn money. Like I said, doors are closed for a reason. God closes doors so that way others can be opened. I mean, it's a real thing. And I think when it comes down to it, whether you're a believer or you're not, something that's said amongst entrepreneurs who are seasoned and who blog and post and video and all this different stuff, something that's just a commonplace that we all discuss and we all talk about is just the idea it's not a failure if you learn something. And that's what you have to take away from it. It's like, yeah, this didn't work out, but did I learn from it? Because if I learn from it, learning is an L I can take. I won't take a loss, but I'll learn. I'll take a learn, yeah. Any day I can learn. Any day I can, put everything I got into launching this new project, this new company, this new business, this new platform, whatever, and it can all fall apart. And did I learn? Do I know why it went that way? Do I know what I should do differently next time? Do I know how I'm going to take the next move? Like, what's the next steps that I'm going to do and in which direction am I going to go? Having this new knowledge from these moments. If I can say I learned something, then we're in a good place. Maybe that wasn't the project that was meant to happen. Maybe this wasn't the business that was meant to take off. Maybe this wasn't it for me. You know, like I said, I can look back at all the different things I've done. I can look back at the things that fell short, and I'm okay with the things that didn't make it. Where I'm at right now is great. What I'm doing right now, you know, I do consulting, I do investing. I'm a swing trader. I do content creation with, you know, my boys as well as by myself. I love this business. I love this work. I'm passionate and driven every day. I'm passionate to come up with new ideas. I'm driven to sit down and put my pen to my pad and like actually, you know, really write things and think of things and create things. And I love being able to help. I love being able to give back. I love being able to see people develop, become passionate or driven by their business, their idea, their concept, passionate to provide for their family and do well for their family and leave something like a legacy, something that's more than just a company, but like they can leave something tangible behind. Like for my boys, I know I'm leaving a legacy. I was like, I incorporate my faith into my business on a daily basis, which is awesome. Can't do that in every business. You can't, you know, you can't work for this big corporation and where you got HR and this and that, and you can't be preaching at everybody. But you know, it's like in the business that I run, I definitely incorporate God into it. I also incorporate my family. You on occasion will see my boys in my videos. They'll jump in over here, over there. You'll hear them in the background making noise. That's my boys because they're always present. I am literally, as you can see, we're in the Airbnb, but this is my son's room right now. You know what I mean? I'm literally, because they're in the living room playing, so I came in here to make this video. My boys and my family are incorporated in everything I do. I love my business. I love how I run my business. And I love the freedom to be able to run my business however I choose, whenever I choose. And I love being able to do business with the people I trust, care about, and people that are elevating me while I try to elevate them as well. I love business. I love watching people drive and have passion and conviction for what they're doing. And I love that honesty and that sincerity that you see in a person who's driven by positivity and love for other people. My business it's not unique to the sense that it's never been done, because what I do has absolutely been done. My business is unique in the sense that it is absolutely 100% me. It's me. I dress how I want. I dress how I want. I talk how I want. I have my boys, like I said, I talk about Kimberly. I talk about the past mistakes I've made. And I talk about my successes. If I had been successful in one of those other businesses I launched years ago, I may not be doing what I am today. That wasn't a setback. It was a setup for something greater. When you build your business, you've got to be willing to learn from the things that step in your way. You've got to be able to learn from the setbacks and the hindrances, because they're always going to come. It's a part of life. And when they come at you and they just try to knock you down, it's not that you got to be so firm that you got to drive through them all the time. But what you do have to do is be willing to say, okay, this is coming at me. Is it something I want to take on, or do I want to step to the side and do something slightly different? You've got to be willing to adapt. You've got to be willing to think about things. Is this where I want to be? Am I fighting for the right reason? Am I fighting because I started this and I refuse to let it go? Or am I fighting because this is what drives me? This is the thing I love. This is my passion, and this is where I'm going. What is your fight about? Like I said, we've just got to pinpoint where our passions are, what our drive is, what our business model is, and be sure that we're planning accordingly. We're investing our time, our talent, and our treasure, the 3 Ds, time, talent, and treasure. You're investing your time in something that's gonna be prosperous, it's going to be profitable, it's going to be beneficial to you and your family and the growth in which you want to get your business to, your talent. Are you using your skill sets? Have you really thought about it? Are you just, oh, this is a good idea, so I think I like it, let's go for it? Or did you really pinpoint, hey, I am really good at numbers. I'm going to do something with money. Or I'm really good at creative ideas. I'm going to do something in marketing or art or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm already working for a company, and the fact that I'm creative is there's something that we could be doing logistically different in the company that I'm in, so it could help the company be better and I could level up in the company. Like, this is what you've got to think of. Are you utilizing your talents in the right places? And then your treasure. Where are you investing your money at? Are you investing your money back into your business? Are you investing into something that you believe is going to be profitable? Or are you just dumping money in because you refuse to quit? You know, I love perseverance. I love a tenacious attitude. I am somebody incredibly tenacious. Man, don't get it twisted. I am a stubborn, I'm a stubborn, relentless person. But that's also why when I was younger, I had businesses that I should have let go far sooner than I did. Had them on my resume and on my social media platforms and business platforms and forums and stuff like that. I had them on for so much longer while they were tanking. I was like, no, man, I'm gonna keep fighting. Watching the business tank, I was like, I'm gonna keep fighting. I'm not that guy anymore because I've learned there's a time and a place to fight tooth and nail with all you've got, and there's a time and a place to learn, adapt, and change. This isn't working. This isn't really what I started it all about anyway, so maybe it's time to shift directions. These are the things you got to think of. We talk about this if you're a person of faith. We talk about this in church and things as well. Your time, talent, and treasure. Because if your time, talent, and treasure aren't glorifying God, then your time, talent, and treasures are being misdirected or glorifying something else. And is that really what you want to do with your life? But I think it applies to all aspects of your life. Because when it comes down to it, someone who walks in faith and walks with God knows that God encompasses, He's a part of everything you do. In my business, absolutely, I put my time, my talent, my treasure in. But God is with me every step of the way. Every morning I wake up and, I pray throughout the day. I read scripture throughout the day. I Bible study with my boys. We quiz each other. We learn. We talk, with me and Kimberly as well. It's a constant incorporation of our life. And my business completely incorporates encompasses who I am. My time, my talent, my treasures is in everything I've got. I definitely use all of them to glorify God, but I use them to elevate my business. I use them to love and cherish and honor my family. And I also bring God and my family into my business. What is it you're doing? What is your plan? And that's not a question as if it's like rhetorical saying, like implying you're doing something wrong. No, this is a question you've got to ask yourself. This is a question I had to ask myself. When I took the transition from where I was and then took a full-time job for a while, for a few years, because I had 2 little boys and was trying to earn money. And then even after that, when I tried to transition back into, running my own business, I had to ask myself, what is this all about and what direction am I going? And it took me some time. It took a little trial and error before I realized, hey, I thought I wanted to do this. But that wasn't it. You got to figure that out. Let's talk about it. If you want any tips or help, or there's something else you want to discuss, please leave comments below. Reach out to me. I appreciate and love all the people who've reached out to me on TikTok, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever. Y'all know how to find me. I've even had people email me. Y'all know how to find me. I'm your boy, Corey B. Leave me some love. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Ding your bells. Get your notifications. Also, if you're just in the mood for some fun, check out my other channel. Me and the boys just living it up on our adventure across the country on Bayless Boys YouTube channel. Until next time, it's your boy. Y'all get cocky, man. Y'all be blessed. Y'all lift each other up. Until next time, it's your boy. I'm out.